Hello and welcome to
WhoNoob
and WhoVeteran. I'm the WhoVeteran. My name is Eugene. I know almost all there is to know about Doctor Who. I've seen every episode of the new series and a whole bunch of the classic series. And you and
I'm the WhoNoob, and I'm Russell, and I've only seen Series 8 and the Christmas special, and so this is only my second series that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, welcome to WhoNoob and WhoVeteran, the show that documents a Doctor Who fan introducing someone to the show through the Peter Capaldi era.
It's been a journey.
Yeah.
Should we get into it?
But yeah, our second series, Series 9, here we are. A brand new series.
Exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, let's dive into it. You start off first,
So,
what do you think?
So this episode was called
Part 1 was called The Magician's Apprentice.
Magician's Apprentice.
And Part 2 was called The Witch's Familiar.
Yes. Cool. So,
And it's written by Stephen Moffat, I should mention that too.
yeah, I liked it. It looks like it looks as though they've got a higher budget, it seems.
I think it's just because, well, there's going to be more two-parters this series, because last series only had the one. This series is going to have more. I'm not going to say how many or where they come in the series, because I want you to be taken by surprise when they happen. I more or less know. I know as much as they've released in terms of like which episodes are and aren't two-parters. But anyway, as I was saying, because of the two-parters, I think it just looks like they got a higher budget. I think their budget's the same as last series.
But they still need they're still the same length episode.
The same length, but it's less cast members because you've got the same cast spread out across multiple episodes, the same locations spread out across multiple episodes.
Yes.
All that thing, so it means that they can make it look high budget.
Yeah, cool.
But I think Series 9 has the same budget as Series 8.
They're just using it in different ways.
They're using it in different ways. And I wouldn't be surprised if next series has a smaller budget considering what's been going on at the BBC this year, which that's a whole other issue. Not for this video. It's not Doctor Who. It's kind of Doctor Who related, but it's really about the BBC.
So let's get into it. Yeah, I liked the story over both the episodes. I did have some questions though. For instance, who is Davros? Like Davros, Davros hasn't come up.
Yeah, Davros hasn't come up before. So Davros is, well, they explain it pretty well. Davros created the Daleks. He was,
Yeah, I sort of picked up on. Has he been a big character?
Yeah, in the past. Yeah, it's this year celebrates the 40th anniversary since Genesis of the Daleks, which is the episode that Davros was first introduced in.
Okay.
So I guess that's why they're doing an episode that's very kind of similar to Genesis.
No wonder the actor looks so old.
Different actor. It's been 1, 2, 3, 4. He's the fourth actor to play the role. Yeah, he's popped in and out of the show over the last kind of 40, could be 41, but I'm pretty sure it's just 40 years.
Okay.
It makes sense considering that the story's like paying homage to Genesis of the Daleks because it's 40th anniversary of that story. But he's come in and out of it. The last time he appeared was back in 2008, 7 years ago, played by the same actor. And he supposedly died, but they brought him back in this episode with no explanation as to how he lived.
That's right. That's who I've learnt that that's kind of how who sort of rocks and rolls. So,
That's how Doctor Who's rocked and rolled for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Usually they would
give an explanation.
I mean, sure, the explanations could be quite flimsy sometimes. But
as into why he has the cup of tea and
the cup of tea. That's they don't normally do stuff like that. I'm the doctor. Where did the cup of tea come from? I'm the doctor. Just accept it.
Yeah.
That's not normal, but it is normal though for like villains to come back from the dead.
Yeah.
And have very kind of quick, flimsy explanations as to how they survived, but not too much, so it doesn't bog down the story. But this one was just like, no explanation. We'll explain Missy, but we won't explain Davros.
Yeah. So my next question was, it wasn't a question. It was something that, though I liked it, a couple of things, like there was a moment there where Clara totally just passed over Missy killing those two guards.
Well, she didn't pass over it. She was.
Well, at first she got up and it's like,
stop killing people.
Stop killing people.
And then she's like.
And then it was like something got said, and Clara was sort of like,
yeah.
move on.
Well,
let's work together.
Because then Missy said that the doctor's disappeared and like I know how to find him and I need your help to find him.
Still just killed
and then Missy's like, okay, prove it to me. Let go of the planes and then we'll talk because then letting go of the planes proves that Missy's willing to cooperate and that she isn't gonna sort of like because the planes she could do whatever to those planes and like blow them up. Despite the fact she says that she couldn't do anything with them, that's not true. She could like blow them all up or whatever. She could totally do something with them like. I think that was just her kind of mucking about because she's Missy and eccentric and like to say random things. But yeah, so letting go of the planes showed that okay, we're going to cooperate and stop killing people now.
Yeah, it just kind of was like
for now.
I felt like there wasn't enough weight put on that.
I do kind of agree.
And like there was just a moment where I was like,
in a way I do and don't agree with you because I kind of like how in a way I like how casual it is because it shows just how casually Missy approaches killing people. She's just like...
I don't mind Missy. I like that.
But I mean like the way it's also kind of casual in the episode because one, it shows that Clara's got her priorities and that's to get to the doctor. And it also just shows like the fact that the episode treats it casually kind of shows how Missy just treats killing people being so casual. She's just like, oh yeah, that guy, he had a family, he had a baby and a wife probably, but
Yeah, and at that stage, if I was like Clara, I would have started crying. She's like,
But I think perhaps part of her arc on the series is that she's becoming more like the Doctor now. Now she's let go. Now she no longer has Danny anymore. She's just kind of, she's becoming more Doctor-like now because Danny's gone, and so. I actually kind of like. That.
Yeah, I get that. You've sort of turned me. Okay. And for both of them, why that title? Why the title?
Magician's Apprentice and Witch's Familiar. So the Magician's Apprentice.
I got a feeling
the Witch's Familiar must have been Clara because they were hanging out a lot in the second part. In the first part, the Magician's Apprentice was probably like Davros, I would say, because the Doctor's the magician, and then like young Davros was the apprentice because he was like telling him to choose survival. It's a choice, and you gotta survive and all that. And then also in part 2 is like there's always mercy, so it's like he's kind of like creating Davros, as the Doctor says. Davros created the Daleks, but who created Davros? He created Davros. Davros is the magician's apprentice. And Clara is the Witch's Familiar. I thought
it could have been, and you can bleep me out here, but I thought they got the title wrong. It was meant to say the Bitch's Apprentice because they used that word
in the episode. It's been 10 years since we last heard that word used in the show. It's a bit kind of. I think they're kind of trying to like show that the Capaldi era isn't as much for kids as say the Matt Smith era was. I mean, it's still like kid friendly-ish, but it's not really for kids anymore.
Yeah, cool kids say that sort of stuff all the time these days.
It's a show really for adults and teenagers with a childish sense of humour rather than actually being necessarily for children. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I got some. These next questions are. Oh, I've got another question from the Magician's Apprentice. What was she going on? Like, okay, she said three of those were lies, and she said 3 things. So it was since the Cloister Wars, since he stole the moon and the president's wife.
Yeah.
And since he was a little girl that she's known.
Yeah, all her life.
Yeah.
And then she says one of those is a lie.
One of those is a lie.
Well, I'm guessing the Doctor being little girl's a lie because that's never been a thing. And the Doctor's, and listen, we saw the Doctor as a little boy.
Yeah.
So we know we know that one's a lie.
But what if he regenerates later as a little girl and goes back in time, and that's when maybe he first ever meets?
No. That would just no. The first Doctor's the first Doctor, but No, the Doctor did not regenerate until 3 years after the show started.
He's a time traveler. Can he go back to before that time?
No. The Doctor's known Missy for ages already. So no.
Am I just missing? Look, I feel like I'm
You're a
frustrating
noob.
you.
You're a noob. Right, you're frustrating me.
I'm frustrating you.
You're like, I'm a Doctor Who fan. There's like very set continuity.
And I'm
like,
pushing the boundaries.
It's like, you're being like Stephen Moffat. You're being like, we can rewrite the continuity whenever we want.
Stephen Moffat.
No, the continuity's already set. The War Doctor thing, that kind of worked. Okay,
There's no continuity set when you can time travel, mate.
But apart from that, the past is the past. You can build future continuity and right now, but no, the past is the past and that happened.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry. Rant over.
Right.
What was the question? Oh yeah, one of those is a lie. The other things, never heard about them.
Okay, so it must be...
This is just random stuff. It doesn't ring any bells as a Doctor Who fan either.
Okay, from The Witch is Familiar. What is normally in the Dalek? What Dalek?
I mean, they're creatures. You saw it back Into the Dalek, and you saw a brief glimpse here in this one. They're like little squid creatures.
Squid creatures.
They used to be kind of like humans. They weren't humans. They're called Khaleds.
Oh yeah.
Dalek spelled backwards.
Okay. Khaled?
Yeah, Khaled. It's just Dalek, but spelled backwards.
Oh, wow.
Khaled. That's what they used to be called.
Or Khaled?
No, it's Khaled. It's pronounced Khaled.
Well, it's not backwards then, is it?
It's an anagram, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. But anyway, the Khaleds were humanoid, but they weren't humans. And they're in a war with a race called the Fowls, and it went on for 1,000 years. And anyway, Davros was born towards the end of that war. And then when he grew up and became the Davros we all know and love / hate. Hate in a good way. He then, genetically modified his own species to then become the Daleks, these like squid-like creatures which need a tank to get around, which are full of hate and, being genetically modified.
So he's a Khaled?
Yeah, he's a Khaled.
Oh, right.
He's not a human, he's a Khaled.
Okay.
And so, and then he turned every single one of his species into Daleks, because he thought that the only way to achieve true peace was for one species to achieve absolute dominance and to be utterly perfect, and then that species can just live on its own by itself with no other species without any interruptions and no more war.
Sounds like humans.
Yeah. So Davros is like, okay, we kill everything, have a huge war that wipes out everything except for the one perfect species, and that one perfect species will live on in peace forever. That's the only way we can have peace.
Yeah.
And also he's a bit of a control freak and wants ultimate power. He's also that whole thing as well. But,
right. Yeah. Another thing I just don't know with Missy. I never can tell if I can start liking her or trusting her.
I mean,
like,
of course
as soon as I start to go, she's alright, she's,
Do you like her as a character?
Yeah, I do, I think, the way she's played is kind of cool.
Michelle Gomez does a great performance.
Yeah, she's, but each time I'm watching it and I'm like, oh, I'm starting to like her. Yeah, go.
She's trustworthy.
And then she's trustworthy, and then it's like, no, she's not trustworthy at all.
She pushes Kara down a hole.
Yes.
She ties her up upside down.
Yes, yeah.
She felt more like the Master in this one than she did back in Series 8, I think.
Yeah.
And like back in Series 8, I didn't like her, but here, even if she doesn't totally feel like the Master, I am at least enjoying her now, because she is just so like random and unpredictable and funny, and Michelle Gomez is great in the role. She like pours her heart and soul into that performance. You can tell Michelle Gomez is having a ball.
Yeah. Well, you would.
Yeah.
She just gets to kill people with no.
So even though she's more like
consequence,
she is more like an evil river song rather than the Master as a woman. But I'm digging her now. I at least like her now.
Yeah.
I might not really like her, but I enjoy seeing her pop up now, which is an improvement from last series.
The other thing I know it was gonna happen. I could see it, but I was kind of bummed out when Davros turned bad and started.
Yeah, it turned out he was tricking the Doctor. And the Doctor knew that Davros was tricking him, and then he tricked Davros back, which then kind of robs the scene beforehand of like Davros opening his eyes and like they're having the laugh together and all that.
Yeah, they had this. Yeah. Stephen Moffat is brilliant at destroying the scenes
Again,
beforehand.
it's like Last Christmas.
Like Last Christmas.
Only kind of worse. Like in Last Christmas, I thought that scene between the Doctor and old Clara still carried impact afterwards.
No, destroyed it.
Whereas in this one, it did just destroy it.
Yeah.
I was just like, there's no impact on
Yeah.
it. They're both tricking each other. There's
no
lasting-
moment there. That moment that just happened didn't happen.
Yeah, it has no
because-
consequence. They haven't grown as characters because of it, and neither of them meant what they were saying because they're both double tricking each other.
Yeah.
So it's just like that scene's now pointless.
Yeah.
That awesome scene that
Yeah.
gave like that
Yeah,
showed
I'm
that
gonna open
that,
your
that,
eyes
that
by
kind of
giving you know,
it showed that Davros perhaps wasn't quite as evil as we thought he was.
yeah, like I thought he was having
Like-
that moment where
or-
a bad guy is like looks back on his life and I should have done.
Yeah, more
and
like
once
that.
that last that
Yeah,
last-
it wasn't like you're saying. It wasn't
Yeah.
so much that it revealed that he wasn't as bad as we thought. It's more as in he's an old guy looking back on his life and kind of
Yeah.
realizing that maybe he
made
wasn't.
some bad choices.
Maybe he made some bad choices, but
He wants to fix things,
But then it turns
before.
out no, he thinks he was always in the right, and he thinks
Yeah.
that he was always a good man, and that
Yeah.
there was no kind
Yeah,
of
and this
worry,
whole episode was
kind of pointless.
pointless.
Yeah.
Wow, that kind of let me down now.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of my thoughts on this two-parter as a whole, is that it has lots of great little character moments, which either get undermined because of the double crossing thing. There's also another good character moment where Clara grabs Missy's stick and she turns it back, and then Clara's like, I'll kill you as soon as you turn your back, and then Missy literally turns around, and then Clara just stands there and Missy grabs the stick back off Clara. Like, that's a good insight, because at the end of Series 8, Clara was more than happy to get the Doctor to kill Missy for her, but she doesn't have the strength to actually kill her herself. It's an interesting insight into her character. Kind of shows that, like, Danny was always trying to point out to Clara that, you see, the Doctor doesn't want to get his hands dirty, he just makes other people do his stuff for him, when all this time his girlfriend is actually like that too.
She was doing the same thing.
So again, like, there's lots of good little insights like that all throughout the episode, and that also like how the Doctor thought that he was going to die when he saw Davros. Like, my interpretation from that was that, there was nothing particularly bigger about this threat than there is in most episodes. But it's just that because of the Doctor's guilt, the Doctor was going to stop whatever evil plan Davros had, and he was going to stop him, but then he wouldn't try to escape though. He would stop him, and then like in the explosion or whatever, he would just let himself get killed.
Yeah.
That's what I was interpreting it as a form of punishment. He wouldn't try and escape at the end. But then of course when Missy and Clara are there, he of course tries to escape to save them.
Yeah.
And then
he realised as we're only like 2 episodes in to the series, so I've got to survive.
Yeah, and then he realises that the whole mercy thing, that he needs to go back now, and
Inception. It's Inception again.
It's Inception again.
Inception, putting
the
the
idea.
thought in the.
But yeah.
Yeah. Talking back about when she was like, "I'll stab you in the back," when you turn. There's a moment there down there in that section where Missy mentions having a daughter.
Yep, never heard about that before. One assumes she wasn't the one who gave birth because she was a guy up until just recently.
Yeah.
So she's probably the
Unless
so
she time travels back as.
No. Stop it. Well, but however, when we first met the Master was on his last life when we first met him in the show. Unlike the Doctor, where the Doctor was still in his first life when we first met him. So it's possible the Master's maybe been a woman in the past, maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows? I doubt it though. I imagine that Missy is probably the father, despite being a woman. If it's actually real. I mean, she could be lying because it's Missy, but I doubt they'll ever readdress it again. It was probably a random line. Unless, of course, Maisie Williams, mysterious character, that's coming up in episodes 5 and 6.
Okay, so she's not in it yet.
No, not yet, but Maisie Williams is going to be playing a character in episodes 5 and 6. And they've all been all like, oh, she's all mysterious and stuff like that. Maybe Maisie Williams is playing the Master / Missy's daughter.
Maybe, that'll be.
And maybe this is them setting up for it. Or maybe it's a random line of dialogue that they'll never address again.
Yeah.
I think it'll be one of those two.
And one more thing, I was going to talk about whether there was much subtext or not much subtext. But now that we've just had this discussion about the fact that all of that stuff beforehand didn't really mean anything, I'm starting to wonder what the subtext was
Yeah, what was the point?
What was the point?
I mean,
he makes these nice moments.
I mean, there was more subtext here than there was in like some Series 8 episodes because like there's that scene where like Kara's like, so clearly, you know, when she says to the Doctor, clearly you knew that Missy survived, otherwise you would have given her the confession dial, or at worse, you hope she didn't die. And then the Doctor doesn't answer that. Like if this were back in Series 8, I feel like the Doctor would have gone off on some big monologue about how he feels about Missy. Which, by the way, I like the monologue earlier on from Missy describing hers and the Doctor's relationship.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Not
when
true.
Sitting under the shadow of
Your thing, and she's all like, you know, it's friendship, not love, and it's something that humans can't contemplate. I like that. But it's not true that the Doctor's ever tried to kill the Master. I mean, a couple of times in self-defense, but that's it. It's
just that's what we all do.
Yeah, but I think that's just her, you know, like messing around because you know she just likes to say random stuff and mess with people's head.
Yeah.
But what was I talking about?
I don't know. Well, we were talking about how the.
Oh yeah, I expected when Kara said, you know, you knew that Missy died, or worse, you hope she didn't die. You know, if this was Series 8, I think the Doctor would probably gone on some big monologue about how he really feels about Missy and all that. But they didn't here. He didn't answer it. It just kind of, you know, dodged the question, which I like. It left the audience to interpret that how they wanted to, and that's good. That's treating your audience with intelligence and respect, which I think Series 8 kind of lacked a bit.
So I'm really frustrated now about the whole fact that Stephen Moffat always destroys his great moments.
It's only 2 episodes so far.
It seems like a lot because it's one after the other.
Yeah, and to me it seems like more because there has been more because I've been watching the show for longer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. There's lots of great little moments, and there's lots of great ideas, such as like Time Lord Dalek mutants, and the Kara and Missy having to forge an uneasy alliance to find the Doctor, and you know the Doctor, you know, sort of like falling into like a depression and like you know it's like I'm not gonna try and escape this time. I'm gonna accept my punishment. The idea of the Doctor going back and meeting Davros as a kid, which doesn't entirely make sense because Skaro is supposed to be time locked during the Time War and before the Time War. But hey, Moffat just clearly shows there isn't a respect for those rules because they went back to Gallifrey before the Time War last year as well.
Oh right.
And Gallifrey is supposed to be time locked as well. So
when did they go back together?
Listen. When he was the kid. So yeah, so that's like two series in a row we've messed with the time lock rules. But anyway, I still think that's a cool idea. Seeing the Doctor hang out with young Davros as a kid, but all of these ideas this episode had, I feel like should have been their own episode. Davros, the Doctor meeting Davros as a kid should have been like a whole 2-parter on its own. Like the episode should have just opened with the Doctor and Kara somehow arriving on Skaro because they're on an adventure. They end up on Skaro, and then you know, part 1's all about the Doctor getting to know the kid Davros, rather than just having him be there. So we actually get to know how he was like.
Yeah, because they walk off together, and it's like, what?
Yeah, and it's like,
when we could have.
So he should have been like, what should I do? And then Kara should be like, we gotta take care of him because that's the right thing to do. And the Doctor's like, oh, okay. And then like the episode's about the Doctor and Kara trying to walk young Davros back to, you know, his home, despite the fact that it's a big war and a big battlefield. And then throughout the episode, you keep getting, you know, the Doctor having like these hypothetical situations in his head of like what could happen in the future because Davros is.
And how and can he actually change what's going to happen?
Yeah, and can he change it
or deception?
or you know, would he be breaking the laws of time and all that? And then you end part 1 on the Doctor finally going, no, that's it, I can't let him live. And he like picks up a gun like off the you know
exterminate
side, and you go like exterminate, and that's your cliffhanger. It doesn't feel forced. Because it's weird how it's like that bit from the ends at the end of part 1. It's like it's random and comes out of the blue, the cliffhanger. Because that would have flowed better. And then in part 2, part 2 opens with the Doctor pulling the trigger and killing him. Yeah. And then the whole rest of the episode is then sort of like the Doctor and Kara leaving and Kara being, you know, cross with the Doctor for doing that, and the Doctor being like, no, I had to. But then because he killed this person and broke like a law of time, then the whole world kind of starts falling apart, and then like they go back into the future, but everything's different, and you know things are going wrong, and the world's turned out even worse now because you know places that would have grown in strength from their fear of the Daleks haven't now grown stronger and instead fallen due to other things taking them by surprise. And the Doctor kind of learns that actually maybe, despite the Daleks of pure evil, their pure evil has made good stronger though. And then like somehow the episode ends with the Doctor going back and stopping himself and all that. And that should have been the episode.
Our next Doctor Who writer, everyone. Our next Doctor Who writer.
That should have been the episode. That would have been so awesome.
Yeah.
And we actually get to know Davros as a kid, so it carries more impact.
Yeah.
And they could make him like this really nice kid. I mean, Big Finish.
There you go, Stephen Moffat, huh? You've been outdone.
Big Finish, who do Doctor Who audios, have
You got some eyes.
Yeah, has done a Doctor Who story about Davros as a kid, but I don't think that that would really contradict with what Big Finish has done in I, Davros. But yeah, so that's one of the ideas. Don't even get me started on like the other ideas like Dalek Time Lord mutants and Missy being like a companion, and like those are all episodes on their own, which I think the Time Lord Dalek thing will end up being an episode, a full episode later on, because you know it ends with some of the Daleks still being Time Lords.
Yeah.
Dalek mutants, and Missy's like, I have an idea. So my prediction is that this year's series final will be Missy and the Daleks teaming up in the series final probably. And the Daleks will be extra powerful because they've got like Time Lord powers. You know, so hopefully that idea is fully realised in the series final this year. But also knowing Stephen Moffat, that he could never address it again, and it could just kind of float off and never be talked about again. So who knows?
Yeah. What else have you?
Yeah, well that's really it.
That's really it.
Yeah, and the ending of the Doctor walking off with Davros. Some people might think that doesn't make sense. I think it kind of makes sense because it shows that like Davros is remembered, and then he's all like, okay, right. The Doctor will no doubt feel guilty about the fact that he didn't kill me when he had the chance. So I'm going to play on that guilt now. Whereas for the Doctor, because at this point in time he's only abandoned him, he thinks that Davros is playing on his guilt for abandoning him, but really it's Davros playing on his guilt for the opposite. Really,
for
not killing him, for helping him.
Yeah, because
they've got slightly different perspectives on life.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anything else you want to add?
No, that's
okay. So
what's your rating?
So overall, like lots of good little moments and good potential for episodes, but overall, a lot of these ideas should have been like their own episodes, and these little character moments should have been separated into different episodes. And it's just like there was some good here, but ultimately, I think it's a 4 out of 10.
4.
It's not terrible, but it's just not. It's not as good as it should have been. You know what I mean? Although the title sequence was in sync for part 2, not part 1, but it was in part 2, so that's something.
So that's worth a point.
So your score, Russell, what do you think?
My score, I think I'll give it a 6.
A 6. So you liked it.
Yeah,
not too much, but you did like it.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm annoyed now about the whole thing of it meaning all those moments not actually accumulating. The fact that the moments didn't really mean anything was kind of frustrating. But
you still enjoyed it.
But I still enjoyed it.
Okay. I mean, it was entertaining, just not good, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Anyway, so thank you for watching this review, and we'll see you next Wednesday. This Wednesday for our review of Under the Lake and Before the Flood, and then from there on in we will be reviewing each individual episode of the series every Wednesday after broadcast.
Unless it's a double.
No, and even if it's a 2-parter, we will review parts 1 and 2 separately. It's just that we won't give a score until we've seen both parts.
Okay, cool.
But for Before the Flood and Under the Lake, we'll be doing those in one video. And then from there, all be individual videos. So,
cool.
Yeah.
See you then.
See you on Wednesday.
Goodbye.